me and JL are closer now because of those blow-ups, really.
The fact that you blokes have just gone back and sat in a room and knocked off a couple of toasted sandwiches together is ridiculous. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
A few of the guys were intimidated by him, no doubt.
We know you as the batsman that you are today, but I think as a junior you used to bowl a little bit of heat.
That is such a lie. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Well, we are very, very lucky to have this man on the podcast this week. BackChat, of course, powered by Paywise, joined by the opening batsman of the Australian cricket team, if you don't mind, Dan Collins. I could go through his list of highlights. I'm not going to do it because it's too long. We've only got a short time with him. But Usman Khawaja joins us on the podcast. Uzzie the Great, welcome.
Uzzie. Thanks for having me, guys. No, go through the list. Go for it.
Mate.
No. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, go through it.
I've got it in front of me. But what is it with you cricketers, right? Like because of the three forms, it feels like you're playing three different sports. You do a little bit of research on you blokes, and you're going through T20s and one days and Test matches and English cricket,
Shield cricket.
Yeah,
in
it's
England,
ridiculous.
It's like, and sometimes they have
agree,
like 25 teams that they play for.
Yeah, it's complicated, isn't it? It's like, that's what you guys are getting at. It's complicated. I look at it and I think it's complicated. And I don't know when a person looking from the outside is looking in going, what is going on with this T20, ODI, Test? What is this? What is this game? It's a bizarre game that you could have one game. No game in the world has, does any game in the world have three different formats for the same game? It's bizarre.
Yes.
It's like we get bored. It's like, oh yeah, this is fun. Let's shorten it up. Oh, yeah, this shortened version is fun, but let's make it shorter. And then the next guy's going to come and say, I've got an even better idea. We'll make it even shorter again.
Just one ball. Each team gets one ball and that's it.
We might just get to a one baller. Yeah.
What's that movie? It's like 8-minute abs. It's like, you know what better than 8-minute abs? 7-minute abs. 6-minute abs. That's what we're doing with cricket. Now, Usman, I would like to ask you the same question we ask every guest on this podcast. We've had over 100 now, and we've had some great stories off the back of this. So we start everyone like this. Thanks to TABtouch, we want to know your greatest sporting achievement. But as I said, we know what you've done as a cricketer. I mean, you are the best in the world. ICC Test Cricketer of the Year 2023. You are literally the best in the world at cricket. But we want to know your greatest sporting achievement, not on the cricket pitch/field. We need something outside of cricket that you've done. I mean, we can give you ours. Like I played football professionally, but before that, I was the under-9 state hurdling champion, 80-meter champion, just brilliant stuff on the athletics track. Dan Collins, what are you currently?
This cricket ball behind me there, that's a grand final performance of 5 wickets for 16 runs in under 12s. No big deal. We did lose that grand final, but still try to carry the team on my back. You know what that's like.
What have you got for us, mate? Your greatest sporting achievement?
Yeah, that's good going. That's some good figures. Oh, greatest sport. So I mean, you're saying outside of cricket?
Yes. No, we know you're a good cricketer, mate. I mean, you're the best in the world. We don't need to ask you about that. We want to know what you can do off the cricket field.
I do cricket really well, but I do lots of other stuff well, just not as well. Like I'm trying to think. I'm like most of my battles came playing with my brothers and playing different sport with my brothers. One of my biggest memories, and it's come straight away to me, so it must be important to me.
Perfect.
I used to play tennis a lot with my brothers growing up, particularly my middle brother. We had some humdinger tennis matches after school. We'd go down to local Parramatta RSL. They had 2 tennis courts down there, and go down to local Parramatta RSL and play tennis. And I mean, I just couldn't beat him. He used to get me, and I was just like, man, it's like one day I'm going to beat him, one day. And it was just another day at tennis, and I lost the first set, 6-something, whatever it was. And I was down 5-0 in the second set, and I was down 40-love. And I'm just like demoralized again. I'm like, this is just a never ending. I'm never going to win. I'm never going to beat my brother at tennis. Like, it's going to go my whole life. And I just remember saying to myself, like, come on, Uzzie, you're better than this. Like, just come on, just fight for this 1 point. I won that 1 point. I was like, all right, let's fight for this next one. I won the next point. I'm like, let's win this game. Let's win this next point. Let's win this game. I won the next point. Juice. I won that game, and I'm like, yeah, it felt good. It was a victory. I was like, you got a moral victory now. Full England Ashes moral victory. I've got this. And so I was just so pumped. I was like, yeah, like, okay, he can beat me now, but like maybe you should try to win another game. And what happened was I went bang, 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 bang. And somehow I won that set.
Huge.
And after winning that set, the confidence was up. I was on fire. I was just, and my brother was demoralized. I literally 5-0 down, 40 love, match point, palm of his hand sort of stuff. I came and I absolutely obliterated him in the third set and beat him.
Wow.
And that feeling was just like,
that's good.
I still remind him to this day. He's like, remember that time I was down? And he's like, yeah, I remember. And I was like, the one feeling I got, and I've never ever forgotten that, because for me, my brother always said it too. He's like, Uzzie, that's the first time I saw that fight in you. I saw like the first time I noticed there was something a little bit different. Like I had you on the ropes and absolutely just fought your way out of it. And he still says that's the first time I thought, yeah, you might become a professional, because cricket was still my favorite sport. Cricket was still my number one sport. It's the sport I was best at. He's like, this is the first time I thought you might actually have a chance of making cricket just from seeing that fight. But for me, it was like, if I can come back from that situation, in my head, I feel like I can come back from any situation. So from that point on, throughout my career, throughout anything I play, it doesn't matter what I'm down, I always feel like I've got a chance. I'm not sure. I live in ignorance bliss at times, even if I get smacked or something. I always feel like I have a chance. So yeah, it's a nice life lesson that I learned in life.
I mean, it's really interesting because we know you were born in Pakistan, moved to Australia, went through, I can only assume, a huge cultural, assimilation into Australian culture. But the and I've heard you speak about that before on other podcasts, but I haven't heard you speak about sort of your relationship with your older siblings. It's interesting how many people we speak to on this podcast that are a younger sibling and find that fight and determination, not from necessarily, the cricket pitch or the sporting field, but at home, trying to compete for, that day it was tennis, but it might be the TV controller, or it might be, I don't know, the best clothes at home or whatever it is. Like, do you look back on that and think like that's really where it started, the competitive element?
100%. And I always lost because they're 10 years older than me and 7 years older than me.
Wow.
Right.
So it's really hard to win. It's really, until I got to about 14, 15, then things started to change. Like, I started to beat I haven't lost my brother since tennis then either. He hasn't even come close since I got that.
You rattled him.
He don't even come close now. He doesn't even. I've absolutely just blown. He's not even come close. It's great. And then things started changing. Cricket. I started. They used to bully me a little bit when I was younger, bowling bouncers, try to scare me. I got to about 14, 15, so I started changing. I started whacking him and smacking him around. Like, yeah, you can't bounce me anymore. I'm used to all your tricks. And there was that competitive drive ever since I was young. I just wanted to beat my brothers. But it took a long time in the making, but it 100% started from there. I would watch them play. They love sport. I always watch them play, whether it was tennis, or cricket, or mucking around with golf, or whatever it might have been. And all I wanted to do was beat them, but I couldn't. It took me a long time to actually get to that point. So I have no doubt that in my head, I still believe if I didn't have two older brothers, I don't really 100% believe that I would have played for Australia. I really don't. So they're a big part of my journey.
Now, brilliant insight. So having a look, we spoke about the stats and the different forms of the game, and having a look across your numbers, I can only see one wicket above first class level. I saw you took one first class wicket, but I couldn't find what it was. Can you talk us through it? Because we know you as the batsman that you are today, but I think as a junior you used to bowl a little bit of heat, little bit of right arm heat.
Yeah, who told you that? It's good. It's good info there. I did. I was actually we played so it's called Green Shield back in New South Wales where I grew up. So the grade comps, the under 16 competition, it's called Green Shield. So all the club teams. So I was part of Randwick, Petersham, Penrith, Eastern Suburbs, all these club teams, like first grade team, second grade team, they have a under 16s team and they play in the Green Shield. I actually won best all rounder Green Shield my final year because I took 20 something wickets. I got 380 runs. I actually bowled a lot growing up. It was all pace bowling. Now I sort of do the tweakers, which I bowl the little offies. But growing up was all pace bowling up until about 22 years. I even bowled first grade. I took about 20-odd wickets in first grade bowling medium paces. I got one of my good friends, Pete Forrest, who played for New South Wales and Queensland. I always bring it up. I got him out. I got a couple of under 19 wickets playing for Australia and going in India. So I used to bowl a little tibbly topplers, but the one wicket, it's not that exciting. There's a guy named Chris Duval, I think his name was. He played for South Australia. And the reason I got it, I got 200 in the first innings that game, and we were about to win the game in the fourth innings. And Stuart Clark did not want to bowl. He did not want to bowl. The new ball was up. It was 80 overs, and he's like, there was 2 wickets to have to win the game. So like there was 2 wickets. He didn't want to bowl again. He didn't want to. He's like, Uzzie, you want to have a crack? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to have a crack. He took that ball. I bowled the first over and got hit for like 13 or something. I'm thinking, no, I'm not getting another over. He's like, you like another over? I'm like, no, he really doesn't want to bowl here. I'm like, sure, give me another ball. I'll get him for yourself, as he used to call Saf. I'll get it for yourself. And he gave me another ball, and I bowled this beautiful ball. Just drifted beautifully and no spin, just caught the outside edge of the bat. Pete Forrest, the first slip, takes the catch, throws it up. Oh, I'm running around circles. Brad Haddon's trying to chase me, give me a high five, but I'm just sprinting off to the sideline boundary at Adelaide Oval.
A soccer goal.
I was very happy with that. That's pretty much, but that's not the wicket I talk about. The wicket I got robbed, it should have been a first class. I should have 2 first class wickets. So we played this thing called the Chairman's 11 game. And it's a 3-day game in Canberra. It's like the Prime Minister's 11, but Prime Minister's 11 is a 1-day. Chairman's 11 is a 3-day game. It's a Red Bull game. Now I think they're first-class games, but back then they weren't first-class games. So I remember I was captain of the game. The selectors told me, we want Glenn Maxwell to bowl a lot this game. I was like, sure. Gave Maxie the ball, and he bowled like a ton of balls. He bowled like 30 overs, could not buy a wicket. The ball fell. I just kept bowling. And it's like, he bowled well. He just couldn't get a wicket. He actually bowled well. And then I was like, it was coming towards the end of end of lunch, day 3. So it was the last day. So I was like, I want to give myself a bowl here. Skipper. There's something. Got to get some perks being skipper. So I just hold there, Maxie. I'll come on for a couple, mate. Take a break, and then you can come on after me. Maxie was like, sweet. I've had enough of this anyway. so I've come on a bowl playing against Sri Lanka. And who plays for Sri Lanka at the time? One of the greatest batsmen of all time, Kumar Sangakkara.
Wow.
And I'm bowling to Kumar because that's what I just wanted to bowl to Kumar. I was like, I love Kumar. He's a left-hander. He is literally one of the greatest batsmen to have played the game. I want to bowl to him. So I bowled to Kumar first ball, and he just like flicked me off his pads for 1. I was like, I want to bowl to him again. So I think I might have bowled like a little leg side ball to get the other guy off strike. Got him off strike. Got Kumar back on. I was like, that's what I want. All right, Kumar. I didn't necessarily want to get him out or anything. I just wanted to bowl to Kumar. So I bowled this next ball, and it's come out beautifully. And in the air, it's come out. I'm like, oh, that's a nice ball. And it's like coming, and I bowl pretty slow. Off. So I do have time to look at it and go, oh, that's a nice ball. And it's coming down, thinking, this is good. And Kumar's, again, he's going to flick the ball off his pad. Just the same thing last time where it skidded on. This ball is gripped and turned and has missed the bat, hit him dead flush on the back pad right in front of mid. I'm going, I'm like, thinking the umpire, and I could tell the umpire, he did not want to give it out. He didn't want to give him a Sangakkara out, especially to me. He was like reluctant. He's like, I can't, that's 7. So then the finger came up and I was celebrating. I was loving it. I was like, I just got Kumar Sangakkara out, one of the greatest batsmen of all time. So I got robbed. That should have been my second first-class wicket. Not officially a first-class wicket, but how many people can say that they actually got Kumar Sangakkara out? Genuine dismissal. Back pad. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thanks for coming, Kumar.
Give him a send-off.
No, I love the guy. Deep down, when I turned around, I was a bit sheepish. I was like, shit, did I celebrate a bit too loud there? I hope he didn't take offense, because it is a Chairman's 11 game. But and I looked back, and he was fine. He walked off, so I was like, I don't think I made a complete fool of myself. I've talked to him since. We'll be fine. We're good. So me and Kumar, we're good.
That's bloody good. I know our social team will be scurrying to get that clipping together. Vision. They want to find that vision. Mate, I want to fast forward a little bit through your junior days, and I want to talk about getting your Baggy Green, playing for Australia for the first time. What memories do you have of that day? presentation, the representing your country for the first time?
It was such a blur, and it still is a little bit of a blur. But I mean, I was just so excited, nervous too, but so excited. It's kind of a mixed emotion. I'm not a very like we're all emotional to an extent, but I can normally keep my emotion in check, and I do a lot of times. Hence why when things happen on the field, you don't see a lot of emotion from me. I do that on purpose. I don't like giving away my emotion. I don't like the opposition getting any sort of inkling as to how I may be feeling or what's going on. So I've practiced it over years to not give him anything. But that was one of the times where I was so excited, and then just as I think it was Phil Hughes got out just before lunch, and I knew for 40 minutes I was batting. So they took lunch as he got out, so I didn't get to go out there. So It's normally like someone gets out and you can walk straight on there. I couldn't. I had to wait 40 minutes, which made it kind of worse. So I was just so nervous. I remember, and then eventually, those nerves when you walk out on the field, it's amazing. That 40 minutes of nerves, just like the blink of an eye, just changes as soon as you walk out on the field. It just comes to adrenaline, and it comes to sheer like, all right, this is game on. So from excitement before the game, having my cap presentation, actually getting that baggy green, it's like you always have the dream to do it, and deep down inside you're like, I want to get a baggy green. And I remember I used to say that as a kid and people laughing at me, but also a part of you didn't think you'd actually get there because it just felt so far away. You see, growing up, you see what the players were doing for New South Wales at that level and what they were doing for the Australian level. It's like, man, they just score so many runs. They take so many wickets. They're so good. I'm not sure if I can ever do that. Like, there's always that hint of doubt in your head. And that never sort of goes away, but particularly then. But when you get that baggy green, it's just like, I can't believe it's not the baggy green itself. Like, you want to hug the baggy green, but I always say to the guys, I don't care about the baggy green. It's what the baggy green represents. I always have a joke about it, and they talk about losing the baggy green. I'm like, boys, you can lose the baggy green. Who cares? You're still an Australian cricketer. Don't let the materialistic object detract from what is actually important. And you want to hug the baggy green because you are officially an Australian cricketer. I used to have a chart on my wall with all the Australian cricketers. When I was younger, I was 300 and something at that time. And I look at it all the way back from the start, all the way down, all the players that have played Test cricket for Australia. And now I was one of them. And it was just so special and so surreal, particularly, throughout the course of everything, the journey I had to, face growing up, being an immigrant from Pakistan, family coming here, English being my second language, practicing Islam in the 90s in Western Sydney when no one had any idea what it was, and being a subcontinent person sticking out. There was a lot of emotion that went into it too. So I guess culminating that at the start was just so exciting. But as I said, when I got on the field, the adrenaline took over. Just like, all right, game on, come on, this is what you've been waiting for. And people forget often that I hit the first ball, I got off the pads. Tremlett was bowling to me, and I flicked off the pads for two. People remember the second ball mostly. I've had so many people come on second ball because second ball he bowled me like this short ball, and they had a short leg and no square leg. I think they were like, oh, let's just bully this young player and put a short leg in. When Tremlett will bowl him a short one, he'll glove it maybe and get caught. Maybe I had not done homework because the short ball was the only way I really scored runs back then. That was my favorite shot. And I looked back there and I was like, oh, wow, there's no one there. There's just a guy here next to me and there's no one. That's a free hit. And Trevor bowled me the short ball and I just went, barrage, and absolutely middled it. I couldn't have middled it any better.
That's
brilliant. And that's the shot that people come up and talk to me. That's the shot that I remember more than anything. I forget the first ball. I remember the second ball. So, I mean, we lost the game. We got trashed. But I guess when it's your debut game, there's so much more going on. There's so much else that you remember than the whole periphery. It was very special.
Did you remind Davey Warner when he was basically requisitioning the entire nation to find his lost baggy green? That I don't know if it was lost in the end. Did you remind him about it's just a baggy green and it's actually about what it means last year?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to lose my baggy green. Like, I love having that momentum. It's cool momentum. I just, at the end of the day, some guys get really attached to it. So I always try to like give him a counter argument to it. But I mean, I think if I lost my Baggy Green or felt like I lost it, I'd be, I'd want it back if I thought it was a way to get it back. So I think, I understand where Davey was going with that. I'd be panicking too. I'd be the same.
Well, if you do happen to get a second one, it sounds like you might be willing to part with one of them. We'd love to have it here in our studio. If you want to send it over to Perth, we'd happily hang that up.
It sounds good. I'll think about it. But I think they give you one, and I think the guys will be getting one after like 100 Test matches. Still a long way away from me, so you might have to wait.
What did Mitch Marsh said he'd give us one?
Yeah, if we got him a medal, which I think we're still trying to get for winning the World Cup Player of the Match.
Oh yes.
Yeah, or Player of the Series or something.
That's right. That's right.
He didn't get a medal for that.
Or
he lost it because he was.
Because he was.
Yeah, that sounds more like Bison. That sounds more like Bison. He lost it. He got it and then lost it. Okay, that makes more sense.
So I did tell you before we started this chat that we'd had a little bit of back and forth with a few former teammates of yours, current teammates of yours, and yes, the Bison was one of those. He instructed me to ask you, why does Mitch Marsh call you Titter? That's literally what he texted to me.
That is such a lie. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
What's that mean?
I don't know this. I used to bat playing WA. Bison would be bowling all the time, and all the WA teammates would be saying, "Oh, come on, Titter, come on, Titter." And I was like, I just didn't. And then I knew they weren't talking to me. They were talking to Bison. They were encouraging Bison. I'm like, why do they keep calling Bison Titter? And I just kept thinking, like, and he came in, and I was just next ball. I thought, like, it's still rattling on my head. Like, why? And then I put bat down. I faced up, and I see Bison. He was bowling me. He's running in. And he tries to hide as much as he can. He tries to wear this sports bra thing that he's got on a GPS, pretends it's for a GPS. But as he's running in the Bison, all I see is boing, boing. And I'm like, that's why they call him Titter. I played this ball. Finally made sense to me. And I started laughing. And then one day I came up and he had no idea that I knew, and I was on the physio table and he had his shirt off, and I was like, "Hey, you going, Titter?" His face just swiped at me. I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And he's like, "You dog." He's like, "You dog." So then he tries to reverse it on me and calls me Titter, and I'm like, "All right, call me Titter. I'm good for it."
That's bloody good. Very good story.
Yeah, very cagey by Bison. Very cagey.
I've got to say, most of the people I spoke to said you're clean as a whistle. Not a lot of dirt on you, Uzzie. So that's about as good as I got from your teammate. So congratulations to you for being basically.
That's not true. That's not true. The only reason is I've 100% been sober my whole life. So every time people that's doing stupid stuff, I'm the one who's sober, seeing what they're doing. They never see the reverse.
It sounds like you're the vault. You see it all and probably just keep it locked in, and maybe they just want to make sure the vault stays closed.
The story.
Mate, I want to jump forward a little bit and look, looking over your career so far, and still plenty to come, and we're going to certainly enjoy watching you from over here in Perth. But you've had, I don't know if it's a love-hate relationship with the Aussie Test team, but you've been in and out, haven't you? You've had to deal with the highs of debuting and playing for your country the first time, to being dropped, to getting your way back into the side. And there's been a lot of them. It hasn't just been, in and then out and then you're back in and you're good to go. I just saw broadly how you look at that as an elite athlete and going through different types of adversity and being able to mentally get yourself in the right spot to be able to get back in the side again.
I mean, genuinely, practice makes perfect. I wasn't the first time I getting dropped from the Australian team. That was probably the big one because I got dropped once or twice early doors from New South Wales team, but I got back in quick and I found my way through that. But when you get dropped from the Australian team, I mean, everyone knows about it. There's no hiding in international cricket. That's the difference. You can hide in Sheffield Shield cricket. You can hide in domestic cricket because, not many people actually watch it. Like, you can watch the live stream and stuff, but not packed out crowds. Everyone's not writing about it in the media. When it happens in the Australian team, everyone knows about it. So, I mean, I came into the Australian team, and in the first year, I probably was in and out of the side 2 or 3 times. It made it very tough. And then when I finally got dropped properly, after having my first Cricket Australia contract, it was tough. I took a lot of it to heart. I mean, probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I mean, I probably left, and I love New South Wales. I love my family in Sydney, and New South Wales cricket gave me a lot. But I mean, I left New South Wales, and I wanted to start afresh in Queensland, just because I wanted a fresh start. I probably wasn't in a great place. I wasn't mentally in the right spot in New South Wales anyway, especially after being dropped from the Australian cricket side, losing my contract that year. So that new start really helped. But I mean, the more I went through it, the better I got at dealing with emotions. Because the first time I got dropped from the Australian cricket team, I probably dealt with emotions horrible. I went outside of buying stuff to trying to make myself feel happy, and spending my money, and learned as I got older that was probably the worst thing I could have done.
Yes.
Very fickle way of trying to make yourself happy. And then one thing that I always had that was, as I talked earlier, that was built in me from the start was because I had older brothers who gave me not an inch. They didn't give me anything. I had to fight for everything. So I lost a lot against them. I was knocked down. I had to come back up. And they just keep knocking me down. My brothers, if I was ever angry or sad or crying about something that I felt I was disheartened, they cheated or something, my brother, particularly my eldest brother, would just say, "Shut up, stop making excuses, get on with it." He used to say it all the time. He used to make me so angry. Stop making excuses. I hated him saying that. But it definitely toughened me up. And the more I kept doing it, the more I kept saying, I came back into the side 6 months later. I came back into the side after that. I thought I was dropped off my contract. I'm not. I came back into the side 6 months later. And then that was, I like girls.
Yes.
My daughter just walked in.
Love it. The kids are there.
Want to say hi? You want to say hi?
Bring
No?
him in.
Okay.
Bring him in.
Want to say hi, Ella?
Bring him in.
No. Come on.
Come on, don't be shy.
They'll come in their own time.
Yeah.
No, wait, we got one.
Who's this?
Hello.
Say hi.
Who's this?
This is Isla.
Hi, Isla.
honey.
She won't be able to hear us, will she? Hi, Isla.
Headphones in.
Nah.
How? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep going.
Yeah, great.
They're good girls.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
So I really struggled with it, but then I came back and started 6 months later, and then got dropped again after coming in 6 months later, 6 months after that. And that was the one that really, really hurt. I just thought I didn't want to play for Australia again. I was really just done with it. It's like, I'm not enjoying this whatsoever. But I enjoyed playing state cricket. I felt like I was really backed by people in state land. I felt like, yeah, bye guys,
Bye.
good girl. I felt like I was really backed in state land, and I really enjoyed my cricket then. So I made a pact for myself to make sure that I enjoy state land cricket, and I enjoy all cricket that I play, and I stopped putting so much pressure on myself. But I came back in a few years later, and then once again I got dropped. I mean, if you count T20 internationals, one-day cricket, and Test cricket, I'm in double figures. I'm somewhere close to 20 times being dropped in and out of the side, like dropped in and out, in and out. And then when it happened, when I probably met my wife Rachel in 2015, and it was all new for her. I remember when I got dropped in 2015 Sri Lanka series. I scored 400s in a row for Australia. I went to Sri Lanka, played 2 Test matches, and got dropped after those 2 Test matches. So 6 Test matches, I scored 400s, and I got dropped. And she really struggled with it at the time, and understandably why. I was annoyed by it because I'd been through it so much. I'd had practice at dealing with it, and for me, straight away, I was like, Rach, I can't control this. I've never been able to control this side of the game, so I'm not going to bother trying to control it. It is what it is. They're going to make decisions or selections. All I can control is, how I train, how I go about it, and whether that allows me to score runs again. And that was a big learning for me, and I learned to deal with it a lot better over time, but just controlling the controllables. And it's a cliche, but I think it's a cliche because it's so important. It actually works. It works definitely for me. Too many times people get into trying to control things that they have no control on whatsoever, and they get anxiety, and that anxiety just ruins them. And then, anxiety, a lot of times they fail, they do stuff, leads to depression. A lot of things happen. But for me, it was about, I can't control that. So the more it happened, the more I got better at just dealing with getting dropped. All right. Life moves on. Let's move on to the next thing. And then I find my way back into the Australian team, and then I get dropped again, and I find my way, whatever it was, one-day cricket or test cricket. So funny thing, I think the resilience of me always coming back probably stemmed from my brothers just giving me absolutely nothing and toughening me up as a kid. And and not being picked a lot growing up too. There's plenty of times I didn't get picked in sides growing up where 100% should have been picked, but at that time I felt like where I was from, the colour of my skin definitely played a part in why I wasn't getting picked. I just had to be really headstrong and be like, all right, I'll show you guys. So all those things culminating into me having really thick skin, and then me having ways to deal with it once I was getting dropped all the time, just focusing on things I can control, not worrying about what I couldn't, helped me to keep coming back into the Australian side over and over again. It's helped me throughout my career.
Is there there's added pressure as well because you're an opening batsman, right? It's like it feels like one of the number one position in cricket that is most criticized by like fans and stuff like that. You know, if you're opening the batting and you're not scoring runs, is that hard to carry that pressure when you're in that position?
I mean, opening the batting is the hardest position there is. I mean, I'd much rather bat 5. I say it all the time. Andrew Ador's coming, they're talking about, like, oh, you need a number. Smithy wants to move up. Okay, I'll go down to 4. I'm happy to go to 4. Opening sucks. You have to face a new ball against the best bowlers every single time. I think people who don't play the game don't respect opening. People who play the game definitely don't respect opening. Particularly batsmen and even bowlers to an extent. They know that. I'm talking to Paddy, he's like, I got a brand new ball. One ball just needs to do a little bit, and I could have you. So even the great bowlers like Paddy understand that opening can be a very fickle thing at times, but it requires a certain person to open with a certain mindset, a certain mental toughness, and the ability to handle the new ball. There's all these things combined. I think it's quite the opposite, actually. I think it's probably easier to criticise someone who's batting at 5 or 6, particularly in Australia. In Australia, the ball gets softer, the wickets usually get better. Probably more likely, or you definitely are. It's a little bit easier at times to score at 4 or 5 than it is to open. Opening is the hardest bit. So I don't really know about all the criticisms. Like genuinely, I don't read the papers at all, sports news about cricket at all. I just don't read it whatsoever. A lot of time my wife reads everything, and she's the one I say, if there's something important to tell me, you can tell me. But other than that, don't say a word. She knows. She knows how to decipher the importance.
If the world's ending and we can no longer watch cricket anymore, you need to let me know, Rachel. Can you just give me some feedback?
If the world's ending and a cricket website goes on and tells me while I'm playing and says the world's ending, I probably won't know. It's different now. So when I'm not playing right now. When I play, I go back and I'm really curious about what's going on. I'm reading cricket and stuff. But when I'm playing, it just doesn't help me at all. I don't feel like anyone outside can tell me what's going in the inner sanctum, what's happening in the team. So I'm like, it's not adding value to my life while I'm playing. So I just don't do it. But outside right now, no, it's a little bit different.
Now, upon Prime Video, in not too distant future, season 3 of the Test is coming out, and people I think that watched along for the first couple of seasons, certainly while researching for this episode, we had a relatively, I don't know how you describe it, volatile maybe. I don't think volatile. It's quite a drastic episode with JL, Justin Langer, one of your former coaches, on our podcast, probably 2 years ago now. But I was researching for this, and I stumbled upon Usman Khawaja, the YouTube channel, which it looks like you've shut down for a little bit, which I'm very disappointed with. But I just
no, it's not shut down. It's just in hibernation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you need to ramp that right back up, because I was a little bit stuck in a bit of a Uzzie K-hole of some description, just sucked into the YouTube vortex. But I just found it really interesting. I think people who watch those series on Prime would have felt like you had a poor relationship with former coaches, and Justin Langer was one of those, but the in and out dropping, which is what I was talking about. But it felt like, and now listening to you speak around your upbringing, around your personality and what we see, you seem quite strong-willed, both on the cricket pitch and off it. But maybe that, relationships like that, where it was a bit of, this is the way, sometimes they were positive, like it wasn't all negative. Like, is it a roundabout way? Do you understand the question?
100%. Me and JL are closer now because of those blow-ups, really. I mean, he respects me, and I know he does because I know I'll always be honest with him. Like we still text each other, and I'll still, even when we played, he knew I wasn't going to go behind his back or say anything, and a few of the guys were intimidated by him, no doubt. But for me, it was just a coach. He's another person. He's another human being, and I was going to treat him with respect the same way. So if we had tough things to talk about, I just talk about him. And I think that in itself, that everyone talks about that Amazon Prime. Well, I've been asked about that so many times. I've already been asked about that earlier on today, another interview I was doing, and it obviously stuck out in a lot of people's minds. And that was the edited version you got. Seriously, the unedited version was belter. We went for about 7 minutes. It was so good that I was all like, they should show more because there's some really good back and forths going on.
Yes.
But it was funny that our relationship after that was actually stronger because of that. And he was the first person who sat down next to me after we had that at lunch. We had lunch straight after that training session. He was the first person to sit next to me, talk to me, joke around with me, break the ice like that. Like we were cool. And then from that point onwards, I think he always respected me. I think JL respected, the fact that he knew that I was always going to be open and honest to him and said what I felt, whether he liked it or didn't. And so, yeah, I actually thought that was a positive.
Uzzie, I know you won't know this, but I was the most dropped player in West Coast Eagles history, so I know what it's like coming in out of teams. And I watched that, right? And I know a lot of people would have thought, oh, my God, I can't believe they're having a massive blow-up. But I came out of it thinking, I bet you they respect the shit out of each other. You just told each other what you thought, and that's how it went. So it's good to hear it from you as well. Mate, we've got to keep moving because I know you've got a couple more things to do. I want you to take us inside the dressing room or the Lord's Long Room, walking through there. I mean, that was seemingly quite a volatile situation to be walking into after you've just played a game of cricket or an innings of cricket. Can you just give us a bit of insight as to what was going on there?
I can. Give me a sec. All good, honey? It was just hostile. It was pandemonium. It was literally, walking into long room. Long room is like the most you think of old British Parliament monarch, here and clapping hands and good day, sir. That's literally what the long room was like. You walk out there to bat and they'd be clapping you. You get our first ball, they come back and they'd be clapping you. I'm like, stop clapping me, I just go first. Kind of thing. They clap you anything. They were so respectful all the time. It was like these guys just love cricket. They love so. We actually walked into that. You see it on Amazon Test.co. It's just like nothing we'd ever experienced, particularly because it was Lords in the long room. I just never thought I'd see that at the long room ever in my life, ever. I just thought they were always so accommodating, so inviting. This was pack mentality, all of them. It wasn't just a few people, it was all of the long room just at us, swearing, things that were coming out of their mouths. It was just unbelievable. I could not believe this was happening at the home of cricket, the MCC. So that definitely, caught us off guard, particularly at that time. It's something that, still look back on. I'm like, I can't actually believe that happened, but it did. So it's unfortunate. So I really love playing at Lords, and also had really good memories of Lords, even though it was always a tough place to play. We always played well as an Australian cricket team there, but it's sad that potentially that could be the last memory, of myself at Lords.
Hey, don't be putting. I don't want to hear that. I do want to know though. It feels like just as a fan, and I'm no cricket expert, but I love watching you guys go about your work at the moment. There's genuine hostility between England and Australia.
Give me a sec. Right, it's too loud. You know, isn't it? See the look I just got. wish I recorded for you.
Oh, is that wife or child that's giving you the look?
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
Right.
Okay. We get to the end of it.
No, we're all good. All good.
Okay,
Keep going. Keep going. She's
Sorry,
good.
sorry, Rachel. Sorry. Yeah. Watching you guys, Australia v England, as a pure fan, and I'm not a cricket expert. There seems to be genuine hostility, and that may not flow in off the field, and that's fine. But the actual cricket, it's enthralling to watch because it seems like there's a little bit more than just a normal cricket match. Would you say the same thing, given you're out there?
You mean between us and England?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much history. There's so much history to the Ashes. You can't build that over a few years. It's built over decades and decades of history and blood and sweat. And to be honest, that I get along with all the English cricketers really well. Like the relationship between Aussie cricket and English cricketers right now, it's fine. Like I wouldn't say by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I can only speak from our side and from myself. I get along with pretty much all the cricketers. I've played with them, played against them a long time. I've never had any issues. I always thought they played the game well. We've always had good contests. Normally we catch up after series, not this time, but didn't end up working that way.
Did they lock you out?
Did
they lock you out? What happened? What happened? Did they lock you out?
No. I mean, I think they were doing some team stuff, and we waited a long time. We just probably couldn't wait anymore. But got to a point where we just waited for too long. Like, all right, we're not really sure if they won, so we waited a long time, and we ended up leaving. So I think boys have talked about it a fair bit, and then obviously Stokesy said that he met up with the guys at 4 a.m. But definitely not this guy. You're not going out of nightclub at 4 a.m. I'm right in bed. So normally we have very good. I've always had even someone like Stokesy. I play with Stokesy in the IPL. I get along with Stokesy really well. I think he's a really good guy. I've always had really good banter with him. Play golf with him. So all the guys on the team, I personally think we've always had good relationships.
Well, the last Ashes series got me like I love cricket. I played a lot when I was growing up, and I was sort of gone off Test cricket a little bit, but that Ashes series got me right back in. So I'm just gonna like not like I'm gonna forget you said that. I'm just gonna pretend like you guys just hate each other, despise each other, and it's battle. So I'm not
gonna lie. I'm sure there's some emotional connection next time we play each other. I think there'll definitely be a bit more heated than normal. I mean, when you stop playing, you forget, and then you can't play again, and then some of those emotions ball back up. So we're human. Don't try to think that it's just gonna go. Mate, there'll be some sort of emotion to it.
You know how you were saying before how cricket, there's no other sport like it, that it's got all these different forms and it doesn't exist. I'll tell you what else you guys do that no one's doing. In the middle of a game, when you're going at each other, literally at lunchtime, you sit down in the same room for lunch. And, in that specific instance, when Alex Carey takes the bails off and we know what happened there, the fact that you blokes have just gone back and sat in a room and knocked off a couple of toasted sandwiches together is ridiculous. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. Honestly, it doesn't happen too much anymore. It's just Lords, because Lords are so old school and traditional. So a lot of the grounds in England traditionally had the lunch at the same gentleman's game. Gentleman's game. So you eat in the same place. So Lords one of the places where you still eat in the same room. But I think actually no, we did it at Edgbaston. See, it happened in England, but so happened Edgbaston, same room. Headingley, that was after the Lord's Test match, different room. we have been in the same room as we weren't this time. So let's go. What was the next Test match after that? Old Trafford, same room. And then what was the last Test match? Was at the Oval, different room. So it just depends. Like we have eaten in the same place in Oval too during the World Cup and stuff, and during World Test Championship. Like a lot of times we eat together in the same room. So it's just one of those nuances having in cricket. We don't really generally do in Australia. Normally there's two separate rooms in Australia. So it's just one of those things in cricket. Yeah.
Can I ask for one more story on David Warner? Like, I feel like we need to start calling him John Farnham, who just keeps rolling these tours out. I thought he retired, but he hasn't retired, and he's playing T20. I mean, he's a great mate of yours. You got a great relationship, I believe. Can you just give us a bit on Davey?
I feel like this would probably be his last one, this T20. He'd love to go out song and win it. He's retired from Test cricket, retired from one-day cricket. I reckon this is his little song. So it'd be great to see him go out and win it. But Davey's been such an amazing player. He's been absolute entertainer, on and off the field. He's entertained all sorts of ways, hasn't he, Davey? He's been in trouble. He's scored amazing hundreds, done amazing things on the field, specky catches, run outs. He just provided you with the entertainment you want in sport. And no, you don't want, 12 on 12 of Davey Warner versus each other, because that doesn't make it special. He's special because he does his thing. He does his thing his own way. That's what makes him special, and he always has. And that's what I love about him. He's polarizing. I think even he understands that. Some people love him, a lot hate him, but you can't deny, what he's done for the game. You can't deny how good of a player he was, and you can't deny the entertainment he's brought to the game of sport. That's what it's about. It is about the entertainment. I laugh about the baseball stuff, and you got the little baseball cult going, but they're entertaining. Don't get me wrong. There was a time when I was watching them smacking around, and this was like, oh, okay, I could enjoy watching this. This is quite exciting. So this is sport, and that's the world we live in. So that's what David brought to Australian cricket, and I think that's what he'll be remembered for. When everything's said and done, and you look 5-10 years, people will remember the good stuff. They'll remember the great memories that they had from sport, from different players, including David. That's stuff that people bring up. It's never really the other stuff.
So, do you think is there any chance that he'll rock up in a chopper to any of the games coming up?
I hope so. What an entrance! What an entrance! I actually expect your mate Bison's the king of Perth, isn't he? He's the one who should be rocking up the chopper.
Yeah, correct. You could pilot it, or maybe it's only planes you fly. Now,
fixed wings.
Correct. Yeah, safer. Now, we're going to finish things off, but you do mention the T20 World Cup, and it could be the last time we see David Warner. But as I said, he's got a bit of John Farnham about him, so I'm not writing him off just yet. But the T20 World Cup will be live and exclusive on Prime. It's in the US and the West Indies this year. So all matches available to Prime Video members in Australia at no extra cost on their Prime membership from June 2nd. You can watch anywhere, anytime, on any device. All the T20 World Cup big hits, all the big wickets and all the big moments live on Prime Video. And you'll be taking members through some of the highlights, I believe. You're a Prime ambassador, and you're going to be offering your insights to how the game's going, I believe.
Definitely be involved in, just sort of with Prime and promoting it, because it's pretty cool. It's obviously my wife uses that Prime account like, it's free money. You're just buying left, right, and center. Packages coming every single day from Amazon. So it's nice to get something back. A bit of cricket on Amazon Prime. Looking forward to it. It'd be really cool. Cricket in USA, cricket in Caribbean, but particularly USA, New York City. I'm going to be down there in New York City for the India-Pakistan game.
Awesome.
For me, it's just about promoting the game, obviously game of cricket in the US. Amazon Prime is the place to find it. In Australia, if you want to watch the World Cup, it's really special. I think it's really cool. It's something we've never seen before, the spectacle. I love US sports. I love the entertainment. They seem to do everything bigger and better. I'm really excited to see what happens over there. And yeah, as you said, if you want to watch it, you got to watch it on Prime. It's really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Bloody good. We finish every chat off like this, Uzzie. So we start the same one. Hey, we're gonna fix this in post. But I've got to ask. I'm hoping it's not your wife snoring away there in the background. I believe it's a dog on the ground.
Yeah, sorry, that's my dog LeBron.
Really,
mate, it's bloody brilliant. I just wanted to clear that up.
He snores.
I couldn't tell if it was a car driving past. I was like, no, it's too rhythmic. Like it's got.
I'm sorry.
It's a
I
dog
couldn't
snore.
hear it because of my headphones and noise cancelling. But now you say it.
It's brilliant. I didn't want to bring it up at the start because I thought once you hear it, you'll never not hear it.
Yeah.
But
you should have said something, and I would have just put him outside. Sorry,
it's fine, mate. It's bloody brilliant. I think it's hilarious. We finish it off like this: not social media, social media, and you'll be thinking, what does that mean? Well, my last name's Schofield, Uzzie, so Scotial. Yeah, I thought you might like that. Social media. Not even a smile from Usman. That's disappointing, but
it doesn't reveal emotion.
It is one of the great.
I thought that was a punchline. Okay.
So
I thought there was a punchline coming. That's not bad. It's not bad.
great.
We've got. Thank you. We've got 4 questions from our audience. We picked the very best to come to you. You've heard enough from Dan and I. So Wile Coyote sends this one in.
If you were head of Cricket Australia, what changes would you immediately make?
Oh, jeez,
that's a big one.
It's a full-on question. Wile Coyote, whatever your name was. I'd look at privatising the Big Bash.
Wow.
To some extent, I think right now it's run by Cricket Australia, but I think the game can be much Big Bash can be much bigger in Australia. Much like the IPL is privatised, it's huge. It's the biggest T20 tournament in the world by so far. I think when you bring in privatisation breeds excellence. Competition breeds excellence. You bring in people putting their own money in their back pocket. For T20 teams, they're going to do everything they can to make their T20 team the best T20 team possible. And I think that's what we've seen in the IPL. They'll go through no stone unturned to do what they need to do for their team to win the IPL. And I think we have the opportunity to do the same thing in the Big Bash. It's whether or not we do it.
Very good.
Good answer.
B. Pegler.
Best moment watching or playing when you thought he or she just isn't human.
Wow.
Oh, in anything?
Yeah, assume so. Hey, we don't write these questions.
I mean, growing up for me was. I love LeBron James. I love Michael Jordan, but Tiger Woods was the one when he was doing stuff growing up, watching him, just the clutch shots over and over again, and winning by like 15 strokes and just blowing the field apart. I'm just thinking, this guy's not human. It's just. That was one, straight away. I just think of Tiger Woods. He's just so much better. He changed the game forever. The way the golf is played now is played the way because of Tiger Woods. No one played the golf like it. Now everyone plays like he does. So it's Tiger Woods.
Brilliant. Chris sends in the last one. I've got a special. I've got something coming in on them.
Ponting's pull shot or Hussey's cover drive.
I love Huss's cover drive, but I grew up watching Ponting pull shot. Mama, that was a pull shot. And it used to be in the nets, and you watch Ponting hit a pull shot. Oh, the sound that came out of his back, just like crack. It's so loud. And there's something about Ponting's pull shot, and it more so as a pull shot, right? The bowler tries to. There's nothing like a bowler trying to bounce it. He's smacking him.
Great.
For a 4 or 6, it's like a slap on the face to a bowler. So, it's pretty good.
All right, this one, the last one. I'm going to see if you know who this is coming from. Okay, so someone's texted me this one. I'll give you a clue. Australian cricketer. He says you're a really smart bloke and a great talker to start with. He then says, ask him if the Puma Classic 5000 with orange stickers and a Castrol label is the best bat in history. Do you know who
That's
this
Gilly.
is from?
That's 100% Gilly.
That is Adam Gilchrist. That is correct.
I always said to Gilly, there was 2 Gillies. There was Gilly, and there was Castrol, Puma Gilly. That Castrol, he was on another level. That guy, he was just like, boom. You saw Gilly come out with that Puma Classic with the 3 lines on the back, and then you see like. That Castrol sign there, you're just like, oh, you give you shivers. He's just like, he's gonna annihilate these guys. So there was an aura about that. That was a special Gilly. It's like, Castrol Gilly special.
Brilliant, mate.
Great.
You've been so generous with your time. We really appreciate it. Make sure everyone's signing up to Prime Video to catch all the action in the T20 World Cup. Paywise powering the podcast this year. Thanks to our sponsors, ID Athletic, Whippersnapper Whiskey, Mumba Digital, TABtouch, Shelter Brewing Co., and the Leaderville Precinct. Uzzie, thanks for your time today, mate. It's been a brilliant chat.
Pleasure, guys. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
You too. Well done. And good to hear that you. What's the dog's name? What is the dog's name? I want to finish on this. What's the dog's
LeBron.
name?
His name's LeBron.
LeBron. I'm glad he's getting a good rest.
Yeah, mate, he earned it.
He bloody earned it. Well done.
Yes, look at him.
Thanks, mate.
I try to give LeBron a cuddle and then give my wife a cuddle too. Give me that look.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel. Thank you very much. Thanks, mate.
All right. Thanks, guys. Peace.